Hello, what's up? This is a knife that I've designed recently. It is essentially a combination of a classical Roman utility knife and a modern tracker survival knife. Um, in terms of the size, I'm going with a handle that's 4 inches long and a blade that's 6 inches long, um, which can be made a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller depending on the context you're in, depending on which one you're more used to. It's just a little bit of preference. And in terms of the features that it has, it's got this ring pommel, which is a feature of the Roman utility knife, and in the original, it is actually parallel to the handle, in a more centered area, just like that of a lot of Chinese swords, despite that they are completely unrelated designs. And also, this forward curving, concave back edge or clip point that you can see here is also a feature of the Roman utility knife. In the originals, they were even more pronouncedly curved and further curved forward than this one. So the features of the tracker survival knife, which is a type of modern bushcrafting or survival knife that's quite popular nowadays. You can see this concave portion of the edge here, this um how do you say that? It's like curved inwards portion of the blade here. It is designed for primarily for a fine task such as feather sticking and notching. It can also be quite useful when it comes to skinning animals. And also this broader, more outwards curving part of the edge is also a feature of the modern tracker survival knife, which is designed mainly to be uh, to do harder chopping and cutting tasks, such as splitting firewood. And both the originals were designed to be multi-purpose and utilitarian tools. So another feature that I've added on it that's not found on both the originals is this fuller. Because both the originals were relatively small blades and they had relatively thin blades usually, so they don't really need a fuller to lighten the weight. But I decided to put one here so it can feel a bit more nimble in the hand, just a little bit, not by too much. So what is this gonna be used for? It is designed mainly to be suitable for a bushcrafting survival situation. Um, it can definitely be used as a weapon for combat, considering that it's got a quite a big pointy point here. This concave back edge and or clip point that you can see here has a swedge in it that's it can be sharpened into an edge, but even when it's blunt, it can still be effective enough to aid thrusting, just like the concave clip points that you can see in the Bowie knives in old movies. Despite that this feature is not entirely unique to them, they are also found on 16th and 17th century Central European swords, such as the German Kriegsmesser and the Italian Storta, which both had relatively broad single edge blades that are typically associated with cut oriented swords, but they've also got this concave clip point that helps make them more effective in thrusting. So that gives them a more how do you say that a more utilitarian and versatile use. So will it be good for military contexts? It will definitely be good, considering it will be make a good combat knife. At the same time, the military has to deal with a lot of bushcrafting tasks when they're on campaign, when they're traveling to foreign places to fight wars. Yeah, so this will definitely be a great idea. But in terms of civilian use, um, it will definitely make a good camp knife, considering that both the originals were uh, meant to be used in so-called camping situations. Um, but in terms of like urban self-defense, urban civilian self-defense, will it be good? It can definitely work. in those situations, but will it be too suitable? The answer is no, because for a size like this, then it is not really that concealable. If you put it inside some thick winter clothing, then you can carry it in a more concealable way. But with if you're wearing like thinner clothing, like autumn, spring, and summer, during that time, it's not really that good because that will make it really obvious. But if you want it to be a more effective in civilian context, then you can design a smaller folding version of this, which I guess have a blade length that will be a bit smaller, like an inch shorter, 1 inch, 2 inches shorter. That will make much more sense. And so another feature that I haven't talked about is this, which I added, this protruding bit here. It is there mainly to stop your hand from riding onto the edge and hurting yourself when you're using it to thrust. So will it be good for like protecting your hand from your opponent's weapon? The answer is no, because for a blade this size, using this to parry is not a good idea. It's too big of a risk to take in a combat. So, that bit it functions just like a guard of a sword or a knife. That is like a more traditional one, and it is also really thin. It is meant to be the same as thick as the blade and the tang, which ideally will be 4 to 5 millimeters in thickness, which I think is the most suitable thickness for it. And the entire thing is just like most of the knives and swords that I've designed is designed to be made from a single sheet of steel. So overall, how can I describe it is that it will be a generalized multi-purpose item that is designed to be as good as a tool as well as a weapon. If you want to know what the originals look like, the Roman knife and tracker knife, you can simply search them on Google Images, and you will see quite a lot of images of that, especially on the modern tracker knife, because it is quite popular nowadays in the survival or bushcrafting industry. So I hope you enjoyed this video, hope you like this design, and that's all I have to say in this video so far. Thank you for watching.